Hey guys, welcome back to the Social Sports podcast, where this week we are lucky enough to have Jennie talking to us about Spectra Wellbeing, what they have to offer in terms of classes and services, but also what mental health means to Jennie and how COVID has affected everything. Can you just explain kind of what you do and what Spectra Wellbeing is?
Okay, thanks, Patty. So at Spectra Wellbeing, we provide a holistic approach to health and wellbeing, and we offer this to businesses and corporates to help alleviate people's stress and anxiety, but also enable them to draw upon their own inner strength and power that sits within them, so then they can thrive and be happier within the workplace. Ultimately, it's like our aim is to help people to be healthier and happier, which in turn for companies, it translates to a happier workplace where, you know, people are, when they go to see clients or when they reach out to the wider community, they're like a lot happier and like a lot more positive. So that's what we aim to do. Hope to tap into like people's inner strength and bring that out. So then, you know, we work on people's, their strengths. And the kind of service offerings that we offer at Spectra Wellbeing, it's not just active, like we have things like yoga, qigong, which is pretty similar to Tai Chi, and we also offer Pilates. But we also offer, in addition to that, like mindful workshops, such as mindful meditation. There's a really cool thing that we're doing. We're working in partnership with a knitting company. So we're offering like knitting workshops as well. I've just started doing that myself, started creating a beanie, and the start of it wasn't that great, but after a while you do sort of get into the rhythm of knitting, and it's quite therapeutic. We also offer things like creative writing and also watercolor drawing as well. And on another stance, we also offering nutrition workshops as well.
Well, how did you come to the idea of bringing knitting into it?
I thought of knitting because it's different. And I used to work in events in corporate finance. So I was always looking for new and different things to do. And knitting, like, it shouldn't just be pigeonholed for like older ladies that do it in groups. Like it's becoming like quite a cool and trendy thing. Like I've heard that Ariana Grande, she does knitting. And back in the day, I remember that Pamela Anderson did it. And it can be like, I remember when I started doing it, it was quite frustrating, but then after a while, once you get into the rhythm, it becomes, therapeutic. So I'm always like looking for new and different things to offer, because it brings us out of our usual routine. And I hope that, you know, by offering different things, it provides a space for creativity and innovation to grow, because you're thinking outside the box and doing something that you don't normally do. Yeah.
Would you say that COVID has, or kind of the impact of COVID has kind of affected your business at all, with kind of the introduction of kind of obviously online virtual events?
Yeah, so with COVID, the initial, like prior to COVID, the plan was to roll everything out on site. Because being an event manager, I like to like bring people together, and it's all about synergy. But with COVID coming in, like we've had to flex the business strategy and now bring everything online, which obviously who I work with suppliers, we've had to like alter some activities. Initially, we were going to offer like on-site massages, but obviously that's had to change. So with COVID, it's actually like made me look into different service offerings and bring on board other interesting events, such as, you know, knitting or watercolor drawing, like things that I didn't really think of in the past, but with COVID, that sort of like allowed me to think outside the box as just to offer a different service offering. But I also think with the onset of COVID and everybody staying indoors and not being able to travel, a lot of people are now also looking inwards as well into their routines and lifestyle. So I think, you know, prior to COVID, living the London lifestyle, especially if you're working like 5 days a week, you're like running from one meeting to the next, or you're running from one errand to the next, you know, picking up the kids, or it's just constant go, 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 go. So COVID has actually provided the space for people to, you know, not just stay indoors, but also reflect on their lifestyles and their routine and go inwards. And personally, for myself, I've sort of, you know, looked at what's important in life. And I think, you know, spending time with family and friends, but also your own personal health and well-being is up there in the level of importance. So then hopefully people are now looking at, you know, valuing their health a lot more. And also now that we're having to stay indoors and not eat out so much, you know, we're actually looking at the types of food that we're eating. And I hope, like, with what we try to encourage with nutrition is to sort of eat seasonally, like eat food that's local, and not like food that's grown in another country in a different season, because that also helps with like your gut biomes and all of the good stuff for your stomach and spleen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just a bit of an add-on. Obviously, you do kind of the yoga and the fitness classes. Have you had an issue with any clients who might live in London, but because of kind of London housing might have quite a small space?
Yeah, I think with small spaces, like if you're able to just roll out a yoga mat, I mean, that's all the space that you really need. And even with Qigong, you don't even need a yoga mat space. You only need like the space around you, because you don't, you just stay in one area to do the exercises, but the benefits are immense from it. So I think the kind of exercises that we provide, it sort of lends itself to small spaces.
Yeah. Okay. How important do you kind of personally view mental health as, kind of especially during this year?
Mental health, I think there's a big focus on it now. I think it's super important. I think when we're like prior to this year, when we're in flow with life and we're like busy, we're like, if you led a busy lifestyle, you tend to just go with the flow, and just, as I said before, like go from one meeting to the next. But then you also tend to just go for what's quick and convenient. And sometimes we're not really thinking about, you know, how beneficial like what we're eating is to us. We're just like eating on the run. But now I think times are sort of changing, especially with COVID, where people are seeing the importance of their personal health and well-being. And coming from Australia, there was always an importance placed on sports and being outside and healthy. And I sort of think that COVID has sort of forced us here in the UK now to be outside, and to actually spend time in nature, and yeah, actually appreciate what we have. But I think, overall mental health, how it affects people, and it affects like how we feel, how we think, and how we act. And it determines how we handle things like stress, and how we relate to others, and how we make choices. So I think it's extremely important. As at Spectra Wellbeing, we believe that if you're positively healthy, then mentally you can cope with things like any stresses that come your way. You can also recognize your potential. And within the workplace, you can work productively and innovate, and also make meaningful contributions to the wider community. So, positive mental health is extremely important. And I think during this time, if there are any issues, it's important to make sure that you connect with others, try and stay positive, but also get active physically, and also get enough sleep. Especially initially with the first lockdown, there was a lot of news out there. But I think with the second stage of lockdown, I think people are now aware of what this is, like what this virus is. So like with knowledge, we're able to understand what we can and can't do, and how we can also control our own mental health and our own routines to work within this like stage 2, I think. Yeah.
Jumping on a little bit. So obviously you do kind of mental well-being and kind of the physical fitness side of things. Would you say that kind of mental and physical health go hand in hand?
Yeah, absolutely. Like it's all about a positive, like having a healthy body, healthy mind. I think like at Spectra, we take a holistic approach to health, whereby it's not just exercise, but also mental health and diet, in what we consume, not just like what we eat, but also digitally as well. Like with social media, you don't want to be spending too much time on your phones. But I think in this day and age, we're so used to having a phone in our hands that sometimes we forget to give ourselves a break from it. So things like mindful meditation can help like balance those things out. But I think that, research has shown that physical activity can help improve things like your mood and reduce stress and anxiety. I think mental and physical health definitely go hand in hand. And whether like the activity that you do for physical health is active or like low intensity, I think it all helps. Like even like a 30-minute walk outside in the park, that can help reduce your stress by 30%. And this is actually a term that's coined in Japan known as forest bathing. And that's been scientifically proven to boost your mood and your mental health. So that's pretty cool.
A more kind of stress-free work environment produces better results?
I think it does, because I think once you have healthier and happier people within the workplace, you tend to have a more of an upbeat and positive company image. And people in the company will also be, a lot more positive. They'll smile more, there'll be less stress, and, you hope that the work produced is a lot lighter and happier. But yeah, there's research has shown that healthier work environments are generally like more empowering, positive, productive, and it can also be more innovative as well. There's so many benefits from a healthy workplace that include increasing employee morale, like reduced employee turnover. There's also increased productivity. It promotes more of a team effort, and it like physical activity can help improve people's physical and mental health, where in effect there's less absences and presenteeism. That's when people work when they're ill. But yeah, ultimately, like a healthier workplace does increase like a company's profit, performance, and power, and that's what we hope to inject into companies, by providing like different solutions, but drawing on like ancient wisdom, by allowing people to tap into their own strength and power.
I just want to say massive thanks. Thanks for coming and talking to us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
That's all we've got time for today. Thanks so much for listening, and thank you to Jennie for taking her time to talk to us. Hope to see you next time.